Okay. You guys, if you haven't already, please check out our website, chicksontheright.com. I know that there were a lot of like mishaps, things that were happening yesterday with our feed, and people were like, "Oh my God, where are the chicks? What's happening? YouTube and blah blah." Everybody's freaking out. If you ever lose us, or you feel like you can't find us, you can always just go to home base, which is our website, chicksontheright.com, and it has a happy little list of all the places that you can find us. I mean, that's really like that's our home.
Yeah.
Go home, find us at home, make sure that you are going there every single day, bookmark us, and then read all of our stuff. And you can find all of our links there, chicksontheright.com. And then you'd also go to our link page, our link tree. We have one of those. It's pink, chicksontheright.com/links.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we have so many fun things today. It's just going to be like a mishmash of goodness today. And we're going to start out with the story that I forgot to tell everybody yesterday, but I have to tell today because it's just the best headline ever. I'm going to just share my screen so that you can see that, you guys, there was a woman caught with 5 live snakes in her bra. Of course, this was in China. Let me just show you what this looked like. Do you see this woman's boobular area?
My God, what is
And
that
these
sticking out?
sausage that is like a sausage casing filled with snakes. She had these bags of snakes stuffed in her bra.
But my question is why?
Well, that is a good question, and I can see why you would have it. And the only thing I can tell you is that she was trying to get she was trying to get over a Chinese border crossing point, because these particular snakes, which hail from the United States, by the way, these are corn snakes. They are apparently hugely popular in China as pets. And so she was smuggling these snakes to try to get to China's mainland because there's so many Chinese people that want them as pets. These are the same people that eat dogs. I will never understand this country.
So freaking weird, you guys. We used to have a whole segment of China whack when we were on the radio, and we would get in so much trouble by Chinese people who were living here in the United States, because it would be like, "You're so mean to Chinese people." And we're like, "Okay, well then quit smuggling snakes." Right. Quit doing crazy crap.
For real.
Like, seriously, we cannot stop making fun of this kind of stuff because it's ridiculous. I mean, snakes in your bra. Why?
I don't know. Why? And why would they choose? Like, why? If you have the choice between an adorable, furry, fuzzy, loving puppy, and you're going to choose a corn snake, and then you're going to go eat the dog, like, what is going on in China?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Exactly.
We'll never understand that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that is the snake in the bra story that I meant to get to.
Hashtag snake in the bra, you guys.
Also, there is another headline, and in fact, I need to share my screen on this one too, because I don't think you would believe me if I didn't show it to you. But you guys, remember when we showed you the video? I believe it was last week. Or maybe the week before, of Janet Yellen's trip to China, where she bowed 3 times like a freaking lunatic in front of the Chinese premier.
Little hobbit, like going like this. Hobbit.
Remember?
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
It was totally just not okay in any way, and she got a lot of criticism for that. Now, I don't know who is putting this idea out into the world, but here is a potential excuse that is being used to, cover, give Janet Yellen cover for her bowing. And it is that she may have ordered too many orders of hallucinogenic mushrooms that were not cooked enough, you guys. And that may be what made her bow.
It doesn't help. This doesn't help at all. So everybody in this administration is just stoned. They're all on some sort of drug. Everybody's doing coke or hallucinogenic mushrooms. Is this supposed to make us feel better? Like, seriously, this doesn't help.
No. And because they're trying to say that she ordered these specific mushrooms, the Jian Shao King mushrooms.
Okay, so Chinese shrooms,
which do have psychedelic properties if they are not cooked through. But she ordered these apparently like 3 nights before the meeting that she had, where she bowed 3 times at the premiere.
Is that even legal? I mean, is she allowed to do that?
Well, I mean, if she's just being entertained at a Chinese dinner or whatever, this is what
I'm
they
asking,
serve.
like, I'm asking a question. Are you allowed to do, are shrooms legal? I don't know. I don't do drugs. So I'm asking a legit question. Are you allowed to do
Here?
shrooms? Yeah. Are you allowed to do shrooms here? Are you allowed to order shrooms from China and get high on
Well,
shrooms?
this was in China, so, like, I don't know about here, but she was in China. So,
Okay.
like, so I don't know. I mean, they obviously it's legal for them to serve this particular
Okay,
shroom.
so she goes to China, and the theory is if she was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and get some shrooms," and when in China, you
No,
know?
she ordered them because it was like a meal or a side dish offered to her as you know what I mean? And she liked it so much that she ordered 4 orders of them.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
she ordered. So she just liked it so much, and they had psychedelic properties. So she was stoned off of what they gave her to eat.
This is the theory. I don't know how accurate it is. It seems like a really huge reach to try to give her cover for bowing.
Or
I think
maybe
she just bowed
I
because
was gonna
she's a
say,
lunatic.
or maybe she just bowed.
Right.
Be-
That's the point.
yeah,
This is an insane story that they're trying to actually say, well, you can't really fault her for bowing because
actually, we
what
can.
if the mushrooms that she had 3 nights before
Made her bow. Made her
right.
go like this. It's just like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Good
I know.
Lord.
I know. This is why I had to tell it because it's
Yeah.
just so
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it is a huge reach, Marie. It's a really huge reach. So we're blaming hallucinogenic mushrooms on the fact that these people are commies.
Right, exactly.
You're just a commie. You're a little commie troll. You're a little hobbit commie.
I mean,
You're a homie is what you are.
it's just you guys, I just can't deal with
I
how
know.
ridiculous that is.
Uh-huh.
Also, we got to call out a YouTube commenter, and we're going to do that in a minute, but not before we remind you about how amazing Genucel's skincare line is. And you guys, currently the Summer Essentials package, which is over 70% off right now, includes the dark spot corrector. So if you have a dark spot, whether it is an age spot or a sunspot or a liver spot,
liver
and I
spot.
don't even know the difference between those 3 things. I just know they're spots on your skin.
Yes.
If you have any of those spots, the dark spot corrector is what you want. That is why I think my name today is Mock Spot Corrector.
Yeah, don't get work done on your face. Don't get your face all cut up.
Also, there's no need for that.
There's no need. Just use Genucel. Just use Genucel.
It's all you need to do. It's an amazing line. And, you know, this is a huge, huge savings right now that you can get on their summer essentials package. You can do that at genucel.com/chicks and use code chicks to get the biggest, deepest discounts on everything at genucel.com/chicks. All right. So I got to talk about Patrick for a minute. Patrick decided.
Hey, Patrick. Hey.
Yeah, because you know he's watching. You know he is.
Hey. Yeah, exactly.
Patrick, if you guys were watching yesterday's show, we were talking about drag shows and the fact that I had mentioned that I had been to a drag show. And in fact, the drag show I had been to was with you. And so we have both been to a drag show, and we'll explain that in a second. So we were talking, I was talking about the fact that, like, I have no problem with adults enjoying drag shows. Like, that is, you do you. Like, it's sometimes they can be super fun and it's completely fine. It's just not ever appropriate for kids. This should not be like a hard distinction to make. So because I said that, Patrick comments this on our YouTube channel yesterday. He says, after watching one of the chicks, meaning me, say that she has gone to drag shows, I will stop watching. I don't care for anything or anyone that supports sickness in any way. If you give an inch, they take a mile, and I will be passing this on to others that I have introduced your show to.
Yeah.
I just can't, you guys.
And then I think, again, we talked about this early this morning when pre-show. And I was like, okay, so the last time, pretty much one of the only times I ever went to, I can't remember another time that I went to a drag show. I can't remember. I think that would probably be the one and only time that I went to one.
I feel like I've been to another one.
Yeah, I don't think I have, but I went to a bachelorette party with you because you were the maid of honor and I was what did they call? I was just a bridesmaid in the wedding for the wife of the governor of Indiana.
Correct.
The first lady of the governor of Indiana. And so, first lady of Indiana, sorry. I don't, all the titles are stupid. So I just know her as is Janet. And so anyway, so we went to her bachelorette party, and that's what she wanted to do on her bachelorette party, was do that. Now, I personally wouldn't have chosen that for my bachelorette party. I told Mock, I said, if I would have known, it pains me that I did not know Mock when I got married, because I got married like 6 months before I met you. And so, and I hate that, because God, it just like, that's the one regret I have in life, because we would have had the most kick butt bachelorette party. And I assure you, I wouldn't have gone to a drag show. I would have gone to a place where there were lots of hot dudes, because that
like
is
actual dudes.
Right. That is more my style. Right. But this person wanted to go to a drag show. And so we went, and it was like, okay. And and it was more of like, at that time, all the hullabaloo that was happening wasn't happening.
Right.
Now, would I go to a drag show now? No, I probably wouldn't, just because of all the stuff that's been going on and how they're shoving it in kids' faces. And I have no desire to go to a drag show now.
This is what I thought was so interesting that you said, because I've never had a problem with drag shows, because they never used to be in kids' faces. It was always adult entertainment. And so I never had a problem with it. But now I can see a lot of people feeling exactly like you.
Yeah.
Where people who may have enjoyed just a silly drag show at one time are now completely turned off of it.
Totally.
Because it's been so forced onto kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so I totally get that. And in fact, that has hurt the drag community more than anything else, is their own insistence on getting in front of children. And so, but be that as it may, Patrick, this is jumping all the sharks to be like, because you've been to a drag show in your life, I would still go. Like I would still go. And here's the thing. I guarantee you that Patrick has seen Mrs. Doubtfire and enjoyed it, or Bosom Buddies back when Tom Hanks was in drag, or even Some Like It Hot with Bob Hope in drag. So drag has been around for a long time, and it's been perfectly innocent and enjoyable. And people like Patrick, who are like clutching their pearls and running away, this is what makes conservatives look like they're insane people, because they take it to a place that it doesn't need to go. Of course, drag is not appropriate for kids. Can we just leave it at that and not be like, ban drag from the world?
Or
that's crazy.
Or ban your show. It's like, because what he's in essence saying is, I will never listen to you again and the things that you have to say, because at one point in your life you attended a drag show.
I mean, that's whack.
And that's just asinine. Like, I can't, at that point, then we probably can't have a conversation anymore. So yeah, that's just not being an adult at that point.
And so that's crazy.
It is kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, you're going to, because what is next? Are we going to start banning those old movies like Some Like It Hot or Bosom Buddies or Mrs. Doubtfire?
I've done lots of stupid shit in my life too. I've also been divorced. You gonna like get mad at me for like having a bad marriage at one time too? I mean, this is the thing. Like there are a lot of things in my past that I'm not super proud of, but when we get to the point in our lives where we're saying you did this and you did that, then you're a liberal.
Yeah. Then you're just like part of cancel culture.
Right.
And
it's just stupid. Like, let's just stop.
I'm sorry. You're right. It wasn't Bob Hope. It was, who said that?
Tony Curtis.
Yes. Tony Curtis and Jack
Jamie
Lemmon.
Lee Curtis's dad.
Yeah,
that's
exactly
who it was.
Right. But Bob Hope also was in drag with Milton Berle. They did drag all the time. So like, we're talking generations ago. Okay. This was entertainment that was considered completely fine and innocent and not in any way harmful. It did not become harmful until this generation decided to drag kids into it. No pun intended.
Yeah.
That's when it became harmful.
And they've made it like this ridiculous. We have to put it in schools and libraries and indoctrinate children. It's like, all right, you're crazy now. And so I want no part of it now. And I understand where he doesn't want that to happen. And I understand that because I don't want any part of it right now either. However, it was a little bit different years ago. And so just like everything else was different years ago.
Right.
So can now, we not
somebody Allison had the point saying Mrs. Doubtfire wasn't sexual. He was dressing up to be able to see his kids. That's fine. And sometimes regular drag shows are not sexual either. They're just men in drag performing, for example, as women, like impersonating women, impersonating Cher, or impersonating other female singers. And it's not sexual at all. So we can't jump sharks on everything. Like we can't, this is taking it to a level that it just doesn't need to be taken to. Like not everything is sexual, not everything is bad, just because this community has tried to sexualize it. It doesn't mean that we should erase some of this like fun history about it.
And frankly, this generation has tried to sexualize it. So
well, they're sexualizing everything.
God, everything is hypersexualized now.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. We need to talk about this no labels party, for lack of a better word. So there's this, it's not a new effort. It's sort of a renewed effort by the likes of John Huntsman, Joe Lieberman, some of your traditional self-proclaimed independents who understand, they're looking at the polls and they see that there are lots and lots of Americans who do not want to see another Trump-Biden matchup. They want a third choice. And so now there's talk of a potential third choice. In fact, that they had a little conference yesterday and Joe Manchin attended. So everybody was like, oh,
is he going to be the guy?
Is he going to be the guy? Are they going to run him? Like, is this going to be another, is this going to be another third party candidate? What's going to happen? So there's lots of reaction to this. We're going to start with the reaction from MSNBC, who will also give a little bit of the background on this. Here it is.
And Victoria, meanwhile, Democratic Senator Joe Manchin is set to appear today at a town hall hosted by the bipartisan group No Labels. A lot of people are speculating of a potential third-party presidential run. What do you make of that?
I'm going to wear my political scientist hat here. It's maddening because institutionally, as a country, we're set up to be a two-party system. At how we elect our representatives through single-member districts, that really pushes us institutionally into two parties, and then layer on top of that just our culture as a country. For hundreds of years, you would argue, we've always been a two-party system, even though the names of those parties have changed. So it's really near impossible. I'm not going to say impossible. And what it ends up doing, though, however, is it hurts one of the major parties. At the moment, it looks like it would most likely hurt President Joe Biden in his reelection campaign. But let's say for some reason we see a moderate Republican win the GOP nomination, then it could potentially hurt them. So it doesn't really have a clear path forward, but it just hurts the major party candidate.
Yeah, I mean.
So you got libertarians are over in the corner going, come on. I mean, they're just like, we've been trying for years to be the third party and we never win, So, they're kind of frustrated with all of this. But I don't know. I saw this hullabaloo yesterday, as you would say. And what's their stance? What are their policies? What's their foundational, what are their issues? They're not, it's just another party, They don't really, I don't know what they stand for.
Well, I have no idea. I mean, Joe Manchin, if he would probably say, I'm for unifying. I want to bring all parties to the table and work out common sense negotiations.
You just nailed it. Cause they said we're for common sense. Well, so are we, so when I hear people say we're for common sense, I'm like, okay, I cannot take you seriously because I feel like a lot of us, most of us are for common sense. And when you hear government people, politician-y people say we're for common sense, I'm like, I call BS on that until I hear your actual policy stance on things. And what I need to see a bulleted list.
Yeah. I'm
not buying what they're selling, but anyways, we'll see who else. I got it. Whatever. You just keep playing videos because.
Well, I was also going to say too, it's so ironic to hear an MSNBC chick being like, well, this is how it's been for 100 years. And we want to conserve our two-party system. And I'm like, really? You're trying to be traditional now. You're trying to be like, oh, well, we should do things the way we've always done them. Now you're trying to say that.
Okay. Yeah. It's like when they talk about actually, revering the Constitution and stuff like that. It's like, really? Okay. All right.
Well, Larry Hogan, who I thought was completely out of the picture altogether when it comes to anything related to the 2024 election, because he, of course, had thought about running on the GOP ticket and then decided he wasn't going to run. They're still asking him, Allison Camerata, still asking him in light of the No Labels party, whether he will run.
Have you ruled out a run?
What's that?
Have you ruled out a run? Well, I made the decision back in the spring to not seek the Republican nomination. I have not completely ruled out the possibility of this. It's not something I'm focused on. It's not something I'm really giving a lot of serious consideration to. But look, if we get to the point where, someone's got to have the courage to put the country first, they're talking about potentially putting a unity ticket where a Republican and Democrat would say, you know what, for the good of the country, we're going to run together. And it's not something that I'm actually giving a lot of thought to, but I haven't ruled it out.
In terms of the math, as you know, President Trump lost some pivotal battleground states like Georgia, Arizona, I think Wisconsin, by a very slim margin, something like 44,000 votes. So how can a third party, being so new, not be a spoiler if that were again the case?
Well, I can tell you that there's not a soul in the No Labels organization that has any intention of being a spoiler. I certainly would not do anything to try to tip the election in Donald Trump's favor. I don't think Joe Manchin or Joe Lieberman or any of the other people involved would do it either. But look, right now, 70% do not want Biden or Trump. 59% have said they would consider a third alternative. 49% of the people in the country are registered independent. And a new poll came out today that really, it showed that 33% say they'd vote for Trump, 32% say Biden, and 31% say they would vote for neither. So it's not being a spoiler. It's about, that this group is only interested in running if we could actually win and bring the country together.
Man, this is going to be a really interesting race, right?
It is really going to be interesting.
Yeah. But the notion of a Republican and a Democrat running together, it's intriguing.
I don't know who the two would be to do it, but maybe it would be in this party. Maybe, maybe ultimately RFK joins the No Labels party. Although he says he's a Democrat.
Or RFK joins a Republican.
Yeah.
And then I said that, I think last week, I think if you get somebody strong on our side to run with RFK, I think he could probably win it. But otherwise, I don't know if we're going to win, you guys. I just don't know about winning. I don't know. I'm not sure of it this time. I'm just not sure. I've been so confident in the past, and then we've lost. So it's like, I just can't be sure this time.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just this No Labels party, right? It's also the Green Party, and Cornel West is not gaining traction. I don't want to make it sound like he's, somehow like the most popular thing ever, but he is appealing to certain people who should be a lock for Joe Biden and who are now not a lock. And so Anderson Cooper was asking James Carville about the whole Cornel West spoiler potential. And James Carville is like off the rails anymore. I mean, he's always been a little bit crazy. He's especially crazy in this clip.
Strategist James Carville, who helped Bill Clinton win the White House in 1992.
Oh my God, look at him.
James, you hear Dr. West. What's your reaction to what he had to say? Do you think he rejects the term spoiler candidate. Do you think he could be?
Well, first of all, he's obviously an accomplished scholar, academic. He seems to be a very charming man. And he's also a minister to the threat of the continued constitutional order in the United States.
What?
And I say that because look what Ralph Nader was directly responsible for the election of George W. Bush, which brought about this horrific Iraq war and this horrific economic downturn we had, among other things.
Oh my God.
Jill Stein, who's his campaign manager, is almost certainly an agent of the Russian government. If you don't believe me, somebody at home, Google photo, General Flynn, Vladimir Putin, Jill Stein. She was hosted by the Russians prior to her running in 2016. So, people are going to have to decide that we want to continue under our Constitution, because Donald Trump is telling us that very clearly is bragging about the fact that he doesn't want to live under the Constitution anymore. And it's very clear that the only thing that Dr. West's candidacy can do is help elect Donald Trump. It's nothing. I don't think any of that's inarguable, nor is it arguable that Jill Stein had deep relationships with the Russian government.
Oh my God, that guy is batshit.
Right?
He has
Right?
lost his marbles. Like, do you think where's Mary Madeline? Where is she? Is she okay? Has anybody checked on her? Someone needs to check on her.
That has always been the weirdest pairing ever.
They've been married for like a gajillion years, and I have not seen her in forever. I just want to know if she's okay. Somebody needs to do a welfare check on her. What is happening with that guy? Oh my God.
Well, and it's interesting that he talked about Nader, but not Ross Perot, right? Because Ross Perot helped Clinton win, and James Carville doesn't want to mention that, right? It's just... But he's the whole Russia thing. I mean, he's like, do a search to see that they're in a photo together. So clearly she's a Russian agent.
I mean,
my God,
the crazy in that clip was off the charts.
It's
and the way he's got his sunglasses on in his kitchen with this sweatshirt. I'm like, what in the middle of summer, he's got a sweatshirt on and sunglasses on in his kitchen. What is going on? Like what's happening?
He's
and yes, he's married to Madeline, and she's an ultra conservative. She was a Republican strategist, and he's a Democrat strategist, or was. I'm assuming that they're both like completely loaded and retired now, but they have remained married. I don't know how. They probably live in separate houses somewhere in Georgetown or something. I don't know. It's the only way. So. It's the only way you can stay married. I don't get it.
You guys, reminder that if you are looking to have a disaster recovery plan, an emergency plan for your family, which should include the basics like an emergency food kit, for bottled water, plenty of that. Those are just basics. But you might also be thinking about like a solar generator, something that can help you at least charge up or power up appliances, things that you need in the event of an emergency. So say, for example, you cannot afford like a giant whole house generator right now. Think about a solar generator from 4Patriots, for the number 4patriots.com. You can do a solar generator that can absolutely power things in an emergency, or if it's not an emergency and you just need a small portable solar generator for a boat, a camping trip, something like that. This is the perfect thing. And you can get 10% off your first order ever at 4patriots.com when you use code CHICKS. You can also get free shipping on any order over $97. So think about adding to your disaster recovery, your emergency preparedness plan by looking at the solar generator, the emergency food kits, and all of the other amazing products that you probably haven't even dreamt exist right now at 4Patriots.com. We need to talk about Brian Kemp, governor of Georgia, who you may remember won handily against Stacey Abrams in the state of Georgia in 2022. He's a very, very popular governor in Georgia. And he was recently interviewed by Caitlin Collins, that mean, snippy, mean face kind of...
She looks like Dylan Mulvaney. She looks like Dylan.
Just don't like her. But what's interesting about Governor Kemp is that Trump has been awful to him. Like, he's one of the people that Trump has had his sights set on, has called him all kinds of names. And Brian Kemp always stays above the fray. And so Caitlin Collins wanted to address that. And in the first clip, you're going to hear them talking about whether or not Trump can win Georgia in the 2024 election if he is in fact the GOP nominee.
You apparently said at a Republican donor retreat recently that, quote, not a single swing voter in a single swing state will vote for our nominee if they choose to talk about the 2020 election being stolen. But the Republican frontrunner is still saying that. He still talks about it all the time.
I think if he continues to do that, he's going to lose Georgia in November. I mean, people are not worried about the past, regardless of how you feel about the election. You know, if you're a Republican and you feel like, you know, if you're a moderate Republican, or, you know, if you're a center-left independent or center-right independent, they are not worried about the 2020 election right now. And if you feel like the election was stolen, and I know there's people that are out there that do, there's others that, you know, don't, but it doesn't really matter.
You said you'll do what.
So that was interesting, right? Like, he's saying that we just need to let that go.
It's water under the bridge.
Water under the bridge.
Get over it. We got to think about the future. We got to think about the present and the future. Let's get on with things. 2024. Let's just do this. Yeah.
Let's do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, she asks him about whether he will support Trump as the GOP nominee.
What you can to get the Republican nominee elected, even if it's Trump?
I'm gonna certainly be supporting a.
You said you'll do what you can to get the Republican nominee elected, even if it's Trump?
I'm gonna certainly be supporting a Republican nominee to beat Joe Biden.
But even, I mean, Trump pressured you to overturn the election. He wanted you to call a special session. He said he was ashamed that he had endorsed you because you didn't do. You said you couldn't do what he wanted you to do there. I mean, he called you hapless. Even despite all of that, you would still work to get him elected if he's a nominee.
He was mad at me. I was not mad at him. I told him exactly what I could and couldn't do when it came to the election, and I followed the law and the Constitution. And as I've said before, that's a lot bigger than Donald Trump. It's a lot bigger than me. It's a lot bigger than the Republican Party. And that's what I'm going to continue to do as the governor. And that's what I did in 2020. But despite all of those things, I believe anybody running for president right now is a Republican that would be better than what we're seeing with the Biden-Harris administration.
I just think it might surprise some people that you would work to help get him elected, given your history with him.
Well, I would ask a lot of people. I mean, I have people that say, I just can't go there and do that. But, I'm thinking of, the next president's going to be picking probably another Supreme Court justice and, judges on the Court of Appeals and federal judgeships and, dealing with strengthening our military and standing up to our adversaries around the world. And who would you want to be your president? I mean, that's the question that everybody's got to ask themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that.
God, she had to have been so insufferable in high school.
Oh my God.
But but what about what she said to you? What about that? What about that? She's just so annoying. God, I would have hated that chick in high school. Anyways, it's not always personal. It's not personal with so many of us. It's about, and I've always felt like this with Trump. Can he do the freaking job? How well of a job does he do? It's like everybody talking about the grab him by the hoo-ha thing.
Right.
I don't care. I've never cared about that comment. It's like, I don't know why so many clutching their pearls suburban women care about. I don't care. If my CEO of my company that I work for said that, I wouldn't have cared. Can he run the company? How's my 401k doing? How's everything going? Is everything running well in the company? Like, are we in the black? Are we in the red? Like, what's going on with this is the thing about Trump. Can he run the country well? Can he run it like a well-oiled company? That's how he did it, at least when he was running the country. And that's how I look at him. I don't care about his personal life. I don't care about what he says. I didn't really even care about the tweets. It didn't bother me. And this is the thing. They're so personal with things. They're so in their feelings.
So in their feelings. That's exactly, that's exactly what it is.
Toddlers about life. It's like, grow up, God,
and good for Kent, man, because he was just like, the guy was a total dick to me, but I'll still support him because I care about the country.
Yeah, because
I care about getting Biden out.
Exactly, because this is business, lady. I wish he would have said, because this is business. Grow up. Seriously.
I know.
Just good Lord.
Love it. Also, just these next 3 clips are just for fun because I saw them on Twitter and I thought, I like these. I'm getting tickled by them, so other people will probably like them too. Kamala, I don't know what she's talking about. Rainbows, you guys. I don't know. This is a rainbow thing, but this video has been manipulated. Not her part, but just there's been some additions made into it, which I think you guys will appreciate. Check this out.
And early on, just think about it. Early on, he even had the audacity to name this coalition the National Rainbow Coalition. Think about that. He defined the rainbow. He was one of the first to define the rainbow.
Oh my God.
A coalition.
I love that. That was fantastic.
Isn't that the greatest? Oh my gosh. God. Whatever happened to Arsenio Hall?
I don't know. I think he's still around.
Is he? Okay.
I think he's still doing things. Yeah. I mean, he's alive. I know that. He's
remember.
Yeah. Bud said Zamunda Prince. Yes.
I just love that.
That movie was so great. God, I miss the 80s, you guys. I miss it so much. Yes. Humor was humor.
Now, this new ad from Gavin Newsom has also been manipulated.
Is he Bigfoot? What is happening in this? What's going on? What is this? I haven't seen this yet, you guys. This is ridiculous already. I can tell.
Oh my God. So this too has been manipulated and has had some additions put in to kind of help illustrate the points that he's making. And I think it does a really nice job.
As your governor, I promise you, whatever challenges come our way, I will always lead the California way.
Yeah.
I say that's the California way.
Yes.
You guys are really awesome. Thank you so much.
Look at me in
Based
my
on
quarter
compassion.
zip.
I mean, if we're going to be realistic, they pay you to be homeless here.
Common sense. Clean and sober is one of the biggest damn mistakes this country's ever made. We all need to self-medicate periodically. Telling the truth.
Oh.
Telling the truth.
Telling the truth.
Treasuring our diversity.
Use the fist to hit my...
Telling the truth. Following science. Protecting our planet.
Love like yours will surely come my way.
So great. I mean, it's just so great.
Gavin Newsom, courage through crisis.
What a douche. Such a douche. And what I love all the this,
right?
And the this. And he's got his quarter zip on. He's like, look at me in my golfing quarter zip. Look at me in nature. I'm walking around in nature in the woods in my quarter zip. It's not
It's
healthy,
the California way.
It is
the California way.
So douchey. God.
Anyway, this is like those two clips and this one coming up are the reason I love Twitter. I just love it.
Yeah.
And this one, it has not been manipulated in any way. This is actually what happened when Justin Trudeau showed up at the North American Indigenous Games to make a speech. It turns out no one likes him. Like not a single group of people likes this man.
Oh my God.
Listen to their reaction.
Hello, my friends. We've been waiting for this moment a long time after the 2020.
They hate him.
That is
They
the most fantastic
absolutely-
clip ever.
Right?
It's so fantastic. And he's like, what? I'm so great. What?
That's so great. Why is
I forgot to
everybody-
wear my quarter zip. Oh my God.
Is this the new way of cheering? Is this like a new cheer
They just
that I haven't heard before?
zero self-awareness with these guys. Zero.
Oh my gosh. You guys, there's a huge special this week on the Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifiers. You guys remember this? Look how small this is. It's like hand size air purifier that can clear out nasty smells from an entire room in like 5 minutes. I mean, it takes no time at all. And what's great is that it plugs right into your wall, so it doesn't take up any floor space. Or it's got this little dingle dongle right here for your car. So if you have a like a USB thing in your car, you can plug this in your car. I cannot tell you how handy these are, especially when you have kids in sports, because after a game, how stinky they are.
3 dogs that fart a lot. I'm just going to put that out there. Not that happens to me, but not that it doesn't happen to me. I'm just saying.
These things are like little tiny hand-sized miracles is what they are. And so we use them not just in the car after a game, but also in our mudroom, which is where my kid unloads all of his lacrosse gear and airs it out. But what it does is it just like stinks up the mudroom like crazy. So we just plug this in the wall and everything is perfect. It like literally neutralizes all the bad odors. It's amazing for your kitchen. If you have things that you're cooking that maybe other people in your family don't like the smell of, this takes care of it. These work in just every room. They're amazing. And that's why you should take advantage of the special buy one, get one free on the Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier when you go to EdenPureDeals.com. Use code CHICKS. That's how you'll get the buy one, get one offer. EdenPureDeals.com. Use code CHICKS this week only. So grab them while you can at this price.
Yes. I think we've missed a couple super stickers, Ma.
I think we have. Mark Wallace said, Daisy, again, stop reading my mind. I said welfare check 2 seconds before you.
I'm Mary Madeline. Yeah.
Jamie Hill says, get one. Eden Pure is amazing. Works on husband farts too, Daisy.
I
They
love
do. They're
it.
so great. Oh my gosh, I love these
Fantastic.
things.
Thank
Love
you
them.
guys. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, this is a story that's going to make everybody infuriated. When you thought Fauci was gone and retired and just like out of our hair and not costing us any money except for his inflated retirement pension. Nope, he is still costing us money. I'll let Rand Paul explain.
So we've been hearing these rumors. He announced his retirement, and then somebody said, oh, well, he still comes into the office periodically, and he still has his security detail. And we're like, how come? He's no longer working. So we asked HHS early in the summer, we said, is he still working? And does he have this limo? And does he have a driver? And does he have a security detail? Well, HHS actually came back to us and said they haven't been paying for it since January. But then we discovered that Fox did a Freedom of Information Act, and a judge forced them to say that, well, while HHS wasn't directly funding it, the U.S. Marshals were funding it. So can you imagine, we asked the government, are you funding his limo and his driver and his security detail? And they say, oh, we're not doing it. Oh, but somebody else is doing it, and then we're reimbursing them. So it's a terrible example of the government lying to its representatives and to the people. But also, why is a retired guy? The only retired official I know of that gets this kind of treatment is a former president. So I have no idea why this bureaucrat still has a limo driver, security detail, and we want to know, does he still get legal representation? Because I think he may need that eventually, but he's a rich man. His wealth increased by 30% during the pandemic. I think he ought to pay for his own security detail and his own legal defense if he needs one.
Yeah. Considering that we paid for that, this infuriates me. I was enraged when I saw this yesterday. I mean, just so pissed off about this. Yeah, and Merrick Garland is the one that said, go ahead and give him security detail. He's the one. Like, if you look at the paperwork, I guess the FOIA stuff, it all came out. And he's the one that's like, yeah, go ahead and give it to him. So he's got it at least until, I think, September of this year. He's got security detail that we are paying for. I mean, on top of the fact that he's the highest paid federal employee, the highest paid. So he gets more money than the president of the United States, you guys. It's out of control. This guy is just, what a fraud.
Oh my God.
It's just unreal.
Worst.
Yeah. So I hope that Rand is right. I hope that eventually, if God willing, at some point he will face the music, and I hope he's going to need legal representation, and he better pay for it his damn self.
Yeah, absolutely right. Also, we have to show this clip of Laura Ingraham and her guest. I don't know who this guy is. I'm not a fan of him, but he's on Fox a lot. They're talking about Becky Pringle, and Becky Pringle is the president of the National Education Association. So that other giant education union, aside from the one that Randy Weingarten is in charge of. But man, they are birds of a feather, Randy and Becky Pringle, except that Becky Pringle, I half expect anytime she gives a speech that she's just going to reach into her pocket and grab like piles of snakes and start waving them around. That's the vibe that I get from Becky Pringle.
Yeah.
Is that she's going to be like screaming with snakes.
And her name is Becky Pringle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you think that she would be like this cute little, I don't know, like pageant girl or something.
No, she is not.
I'm
She
Becky
is a
Pringle,
horror show.
South Carolina. You know, it's just such a crazy, weird disconnect there. Yeah.
Well, Laura Ingraham and this guy are making fun, and they're going to show you some of the most outrageous clips that came out of this latest association meeting that they had in Florida. This woman is batshit, you guys, absolutely crazy. Just watch.
Thank you.
Coming up, Ben & Jerry's, the largest teachers union, the NEA, just wrapped up their meeting in Florida, which got very little coverage. This was their leader, Becky Pringle, laying out the priorities for the children.
We are required to fight for fair and free elections and a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. This radical court struck yet another blow against our LGBTQ plus community that actually licenses discrimination under the First Amendment. NEA, we all dissent. We all dissent. We all dissent. And we will change this world for our students with an We will never bend.
Wait. Oh,
Sweet Jesus.
That, if the Republicans gonna want to win in 2024, just play that speech, Raymond.
Right.
That will win the election. This is what your kids are being subjected to.
Well,
rants and angry people, apparently. What a disaster she is.
Somebody either needs a Xanax or an exorcism, but it has nothing to do with our
Teaching.
kids or the reading scores and math scores that are in the toilet, Laura.
Amen.
This is an abomination, and they give most of their money, $50 million, to the Democratic Party mostly. Where are our kids? How do they figure it?
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're sucking wind when it comes to actual education. Like, we're so far behind other countries when it comes to academics.
And did she mention those? No, she was talking about friggin' abortion and LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah, there's not a word, not a peep about how piss poor we're doing in academics in this country, and what they intend to do about that. It's all about, let's talk about killing babies. These people are out of control. I mean, we're sitting there yesterday. I was telling you that I was talking to my husband, and my daughter was on the couch, and that was on the television. And she looked at me and she goes, "Who is that woman screaming?" And I was like, "She's an education lady, honey. That's like basically Department of Education right there." And that's why that's why I agree with Vivek when he says one of the first things I want to do is if I get into office, which he probably won't, but if he ever gets into office, he would dismantle the Department of Education. And man, that would be a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah.
Because these people are out of control.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't do away with unions necessarily, but at least it would get rid of some of the bureaucracy.
Absolutely.
And
It would be a nice first step,
Yeah.
because I mean, these people are just completely out of control, and they've lost their way as to what they're supposed to be doing. And that is teaching our children academics, not this other garbage. This is garbage.
I hope Superfan Sid is watching, and maybe he can, like, when she's going like this, maybe he can
Grab some
Photoshop
snakes.
some snakes into her hand, like just a fistful of snakes.
Right.
Superfan Sid, your assignment is photoshopping snakes.
No more wire hangers. Yeah. It's crazy.
Lastly, in this little trio of clips, I wanted to show you guys who San Francisco voted in as their district attorney. And now they're potentially going to be trying to recall her because, of course, she keeps letting criminals go. And that's a huge problem in San Francisco. The crime rate is out of control. People are scared. No one feels safe. And so she was asked, this ridiculous woman that I cannot believe was even elected, she's asked how she would respond to the parents and family members of victims of crimes in San Francisco who are saying, "Hey, lady, stop letting all these criminals go free." Just look at her ridiculous answer.
Family members of victims are saying that the decisions you have made are unfair to them, that sentences that criminals have been given are excessively lenient, and that perpetrators are favored over victims. What's your response to that?
I feel definitely my heart goes out to the people who have lost loved ones in this community. So we at the district attorney's office are very, very committed to making sure that we're providing the best services. Some people are not able to actually appreciate the work that we do.
The work of Pamela Price has been focused on progressive reforms, including alternatives to incarceration and not charging juveniles as adults. Now official paperwork to launch a recall has been filed.
There are people who say that we are here because they don't feel safe.
I was elected because the people in this community didn't feel safe, unfortunately. We know that crime under my predecessor was pretty much exploding. The DA's role has really no impact on crime.
What?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you imagine being somebody who lost a loved one, a child? Say you lost a child to violence, right? And this loon gets on a screen and says, you just don't appreciate me enough. You just don't appreciate me and what I'm doing for you.
I'm trying to provide a service over here.
I'm trying, exactly. And you're not appreciating the service that I'm providing. I mean, wow. It's just,
and then she's like, crime exploded under my predecessor, and currently I can do nothing about crime.
Yeah, do you know what you do here? You know what you're supposed to be doing here.
Oh my gosh. These people
Good
are
Lord.
elected. Like people go to vote and they choose that person.
I know. This is the thing. I just, wow, is
Yeah.
right. It's not, I mean, these are the people who are leading in some way.
It's just madness.
Oh my God. You know what we need? You know what we all need? Some shrooms. That's what we need. We need some psychedelic,
some
hallucinogenic
Jan
shrooms.
Chow Ping
We
shrooms
do.
or whatever those were.
That's what we all need right now. Mhm.
Got to talk about some trans-tasticness.
Oh,
and
great.
this little montage of goodness is going to start for you with Scott Nugent. If you don't recognize that name, Scott Nugent, I know you would probably recognize him if you watched Matt Walsh's documentary, What is a Woman? Scott Nugent is a trans man. So he is a biological woman who lives as a man, has had all of the surgeries to live as a man, does a pretty good job passing as a man, I will say. But is extremely outspoken about how dangerous trans ideology has become, especially with respect to surgery for kids and transitioning for kids. Very outspoken about that. So he went on a news show to get basically berated by this woman reporter who is so hostile in her question asking, but I think Scott handles it very, very well. Take a listen.
Welcome back to the program. We are joined by Scott Nugent. Scott, I just want to jump right in. You have been speaking out against medical transitioning for minors. You are somebody who has experienced that yourself. However, one thing that we haven't been able to figure out is why you are opposed to banning trans women in sports. Why do you not want trans women to compete in sports?
Well, in 1973, we had the law passed that basically, women could compete against other women. And we did that so that, self-esteem of women could be lifted. And we kind of excluded males from that category. Now, trans women are biological males who create an illusion of a woman. They are not women, so they shouldn't be in sports.
So you're saying that trans women don't exist, that they are not, trans women should not have any rights. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that biological women should be able to compete with other biological women in a competition that makes it fair. Trans women are men, that's what I'm saying. Trans women are biological men.
Well, what about a boy who believes that he is born in the wrong body? Do you want him to commit suicide? Would you rather have a son commit suicide or have a daughter that lives? Why are you opposed to this type of medication and medical practice that can help stave off suicide for so many young people?
Wow, that was a big mouthful, wasn't it? Well, let's start here.
Yeah.
No child is born in the wrong body, first of all. And better an alive daughter than a dead son is actually wrong. There's only one long-term study that has ever held up the test of time, 7 that said it was beneficial for kids. All of those studies have been either retracted or modified with oops, doesn't help anything, or not enough time, not enough participants. The one long-term study that has lasted the test of time from 1973 to 2003, done in Sweden, followed 326 transgender adults, found that these kids are going to be more suicidal after. So my question is, why are you okay with taking kids that are suicidal?
So you're
I'm
okay,
not done.
Scott.
I'm not done.
You are
I'm
okay
not done.
with children committing suicide.
I'm not done. No, what I'm saying is that I'm not okay with these kids committing suicide, but these kids will be more suicidal after they medical transition because you are spreading things that are not true.
All right, Scott, that's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us.
What a biatch.
Right? And then he's just like, I'm going to leave. Bye.
God, oh my God. I cannot believe that line of questioning.
Wasn't it amazing?
So
it
you're
reminded me
okay
of
with-
Jordan Peterson. You remember that one interview that he did with the chick who's constantly saying, so what you're saying is you hate everybody. And like Jordan's like, what? I didn't say
That's
anything
not
like
at
that."
all what I was saying. You crazy loon. I mean, it's unreal. The words that she actually inserted into his mouth that he did not say.
Right?
Wow. It's unbelievable. These people are unbelievable. They are lunatics.
And that's a reporter. That's journalism for you.
That's new. That's the new journalism now. That's what they're teaching in journalism school. Just go ahead and put words into people's mouths. Loons.
Also, you saw this clip of Jeffrey Marsh apparently redefining science as we know it. I would love to know where Jeffrey gets the data on this. Here he is.
Biological sex is fake. Yes, we all know that gender roles are fake, but do not say to a trans person, biologically male, born female, male-bodied. No, 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 no. There is no biological criteria for gender that is both universal and a binary in human beings. Oh my God. Where does that leave us? Free.
You know what? This dude creeps me out, and I want somebody to check his hard drive. And I'm not even kidding about that. Like, I want somebody to do that immediately. I think he is a menace to society.
For real.
I don't like him. He completely creeps me out. Like, he makes me shudder. I don't like him. Ew.
And he could take a lesson from Mr. Rogers on this specific topic, actually.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy.
Right.
Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady. Everybody's fancy. Everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine.
I love him.
God bless him.
I loved him so much. The only thing I didn't like about that show is that creepy king. Remember the king puppet?
Oh my God, I hated that king.
I hated the king puppet. I mean, even as a kid, I was like, this is creeping me out. But everything else about that show was just divine in every way. And he was so lovely. Everything about him was lovely. That was when children's programming was bomb. It was just awesome. You could actually put your kid in front of the television and feel like they're actually learning something. Remember the electric company? So like Sesame Street wasn't
Zoom?
woke.
Remember Zoom?
No, I don't. You know what? I know of it, but I never watched
the stripes? All the kids in the stripes?
I didn't watch Zoom. My parents, I don't know if they just didn't let me or they did. I don't know what the deal was with Zoom, but I didn't watch Zoom. I don't know. I have to ask my mom about that. But I was more of an electric company, Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers girl. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. It was great programming back then. It was educational and wholesome and good. And now it's just effed.
Yes, Captain Kangaroo. Yes, another great
Captain
example.
Kangaroo. Oh my God.
Okay, we got some other Zoomers out here. That's great.
So good. Oh my God. All of it was so good. Yes.
So good. All right. I wish that I knew who this woman is on the left of your screen. I know she's Irish, at least as far as I can tell from her accent. And she's talking about parents of kids who they force to transition. Because let's face it, that's parents doing. I mean, kids can say what they want. Parents allowing it and actually pushing their kids to do it is just gross. And she offers a really interesting explanation for these people that I hadn't heard stated in the way that she states it. And I thought it was so fascinating. Take a listen.
Because that's the people who've transitioned their own children. So those people are going to be like, you know, the Japanese soldiers who were on Pacific Islands and didn't know the war was over.
Right.
They've got to fight forever. This is another reason why this is the worst social contagion that we'll ever have experienced. A lot of people have done the worst thing that you could do, which is to harm their children irrevocably because of it. Those people will have to believe that they did the right thing for the rest of their lives, for their own sanity and for their own self-respect. So they'll still be fighting. And each one of those people destroys entire organizations and entire friendship groups. Like, I've lost count of the number of times that somebody has said to me of a specific organization that has got turned upside down on this. Oh, the deputy director has a trans child, or, you know, oh, the journalist on that paper who does special investigations has a trans child, or whatever. The entire organization gets paralyzed by that one person. And it may not even be widely known at the organization that they have a trans child, but it will come out. Like, people will have sort of said it quietly, and now you can't talk truth in front of that person, and you know you can't. Because what you're saying is, you as a parent have done a truly, like, human rights abuse level of awful thing to your child that cannot be fixed. There are specific individuals who are really actively against women's rights here, and it's not known why they are, but I happen to know through the back channels that it's because they've trans their child. And so those people will do anything for the entire rest of their lives to destroy me and people like me, because people like me are a standing reproach to them. I don't want to be. I'm not talking directly to them. I don't spend my time bitching about them. But the fact is that just simply by saying we will never accept natal males in women's spaces, Well, it's their son that we're talking about. And they've told their son that he can get himself sterilised and destroy his sexual function and women will accept him as a woman. And if we don't, there's no way back for them and their child. They've sold their child a bill of goods that they can't deliver on. And I'm the one who has to be bullied to try to force me to deliver on it. So those people are going to be the people who will keep this bloody movement going, I'm sorry to say, because they've everything to lose.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
It's pride, man. That's pride. It's the ultimate. It's so sinful. It's like when you know that you're wrong, you're just like, you've destroyed your child. You've done the worst imaginable thing to your child, and you're unwilling to accept the fact that you were wrong in doing that. And so you will die on that hill. Like you will just do everything you can to keep promoting an untruth, to keep promoting a lie,
to save face.
Because you are so full of pride, and that's the thing. Like the whole movement is pride.
Yeah.
So it says it's like all under this. It says everything you need to know. And so I just, man, like that was what a moving explanation.
Yeah. I wish I knew who she was. If anybody knows, if anybody's seen that clip and knows like where it came from, because I just saw it like loaded in our sort of video library and I was like, ooh, that's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to share it.
And they believe it like a religion.
Right. It's a total cult.
It is a religion now to these people. It is a religion. Like they just because there are times where I think to myself, these people can't believe this stuff, right? I mean, they can't. They in their hearts, they cannot believe that this is okay to do this to kids. But I honestly think that they have made themselves believe it because they can't unbelieve it. And for all the reasons that she just said. And that is to their demise.
Yeah.
It's to society's demise.
Yeah, exactly. She was on Jordan Peterson's podcast. Okay. I'm going to try to find her. I want to listen to more of her for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Megyn Kelly has, and she's now our BFF. I don't know if you guys know that, but we were on her show a couple weeks ago. We're calling ourselves her BFFs. She may not remember that she even had a show with us, but
chicks, what?
And that was so fun. But I wanted to play this little clip of her. She and Trump have had a chance to reconnect, and they have settled their differences, apparently. And I thought this was just so interesting because she talks about this sort of power, this presence that Trump has just even when he enters a room. And so here she is talking about her last meetup with him.
A private audience with former President Donald Trump. When he came into the arena, we met just one-on-one. And, there were his team was standing nearby, but he and I got a one-on-one together for the first time in years. And it was frankly great to see him. All that nonsense between us is under the bridge. And he could not have been more magnanimous. It's just, the thing about Trump is he commands the room. He walks in, and it's not just because he's a former president now, because I knew him before that. There's just something about him. It's like an aura that sort of takes over the room. There's only one person you can look at. I remember when he was doing Celebrity Apprentice and Geraldo was on it and John Rich was on it. And John Rich, I think it was, invited me to an event for Celebrity Apprentice. And you went there and same thing. Trump walks in, like the whole room turns. It's Donald Trump. Well, even more so now. He could not have been nicer or more generous, and had some interesting thoughts about the debates, whether he's going to attend. I wouldn't bet on it. I would not bet on him attending at least that first Fox News debate. If I had to put money on it, it's Trump, so he could change his mind. But that was my feeling in having talked to him, though I didn't commit one way or the other. And
anyway, I just thought that was interesting that they're
and
friends again.
Yeah, and it goes back to the whole Caitlin Collins thing of, well, he was mean to you that one time, so don't you want to destroy him? Don't you just want to destroy him and his whole family and go scorched earth and Elmo? It's like, this is how liberals think. And you can, and I love how she's just like, he said some nasty things about me once, but we're friends now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how normal people are.
Yes.
That's how normal normal adults function in society. That's how we talk to one another. Cause people say stupid crap to one another, and And in the heat of battle, which, you know, he was going through a campaign cycle, I mean, he said stuff to a lot of people. That's what you do, right? And you lash out at people and that happens. And then you just talk to each other like on a one-on-one and you're like, okay, it's fine. We're adults. We're going to get over it and we're going to move on. But man, liberals, they're just like, they don't do that. They don't do that at all. And it's just, you can see the difference. And I don't know. I like that. I like that she's like, we're friends now. Cool. All right. We cool? We cool? All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I thought that was just a really interesting clip. So I wanted to share that. The next couple clips like have nothing to do with each other or anything else. They are just interesting things on their own. And so I've got two more before we get to whack. And this one is of a scene of those ridiculous climate protesters who just sit in traffic to try to cause mayhem and chaos. And this is in Germany. So the way that some of the people who are trying to drive past these people deal with the protesters is to literally grab them by the hair and yank them back onto the sidewalk. And I love it so much. They would be arrested and thrown in jail if it were here in the United States, which is unfortunate because this is how everybody should be able to deal with these freaking climate lunatics. Just feast your eyes. It's just infuriating.
Yeah, it is infuriating.
But there's like a sense of satisfaction that I get out of seeing them be pulled like
by
that.
their hair.
I just love it.
Yeah, exactly. It is pretty lovely.
There is a movie that I'm a crier at movies. I know you are too. And sometimes my husband is also a crier at movies. If it's the right movie, if it's a Band of Brothers or like a Saving Private Ryan, there are waterworks. There's also a movie that, and I shouldn't tell on him. He'd probably be so mad if I were sharing this, but he does this thing where if the movie Castaway comes on with Tom Cruise, you guys have all seen that? Tom Cruise,
yes.
Castaway.
Uh-huh.
It is heartbreaking on so many levels. And there's a scene where, well, I'm not going to describe it, but there's like a couple scenes in that movie. I mean, don't even get me started about Wilson, the volleyball. That's when I lose it.
Yeah.
There are a couple of scenes in that movie that just reduce him into a puddle. I mean, it's just, no matter how many times he sees it over and over again, he'll never turn away from it. If it's on TV, he'll watch it and he just gets it's so sad. Anyway, it's a fantastic story. If you've never seen Castaway, it's not a true story, but it's an amazing story about a castaway, a guy who ends up on a stranded island for 5 years before he's rescued.
Mm-hmm.
This actually happened in real life. What you're about to see is a news report about a real life castaway who was stuck out at sea on a catamaran with his dog for 2 solid months before he was just found. It's an incredible story. Watch this.
Your name, please? Tim Shaddock. Okay, where are you from? I'm from Australia.
He looks a little bit worse for wear, but he's alive. Sydney man Tim Shaddock and his dog Bella, safe.
I just got fishing gear, survival gear.
A tuna trawler stumbling across the catamaran in the middle of the Pacific Ocean by sheer luck. And once on board, Timothy Shaddock began sharing a truly remarkable tale of survival at sea.
Been through a very difficult ordeal at sea, and I'm just needing rest and good food because I've been alone at sea a long time.
His grown-out beard and obvious weight loss paint only the beginning of this story.
I have not had enough food for a long time.
Timothy departed La Paz in Mexico 3 months ago, bound for French Polynesia. 1 month in, bad weather struck down his catamaran, wiping out all electronics on board. For 2 months, Tim and his dog Bella survived on rainwater and raw fish.
Oh my God.
Until 2 days ago, by chance, a tuna trawler's helicopter spotted Tim's catamaran from the air and sent the ship to his rescue.
Está consciente.
He's conscious, he's chatty, and he's eating small meals, Timothy's specialist doctor told 9 News. The physician is working with the captain on board the trawler to provide medical care.
I have very good medicine. I'm being looked after very well.
While he needs food and rest, the sailor hasn't suffered any major illness or injury, and he protected himself from serious sunburn by hiding under a canopy on board his catamaran.
haz de cuenta la película de Náufrago.
The doctor comparing Timothy's tale to Tom Hanks' Castaway. It's impossible to miss the uncanny similarity. The journey back to land is a slow one. The trawler is now making its way across the Pacific and en route to Mexico, where Timothy will be met with further medical assistance and the sheer relief of being back on solid ground.
Okay, thank you, sir. We hope to stay in land very quickly.
In the United States, Lauren Tomazi, 9 News.
That dog looks pretty healthy.
I know.
The dog looks really healthy. Like, I was looking at the dog because I know people are like, how about the dog? They didn't say anything about the dog. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't say anything either. But I looked at him. If you look at him, he doesn't look over. I mean, the dog looks healthy and not
because you know that guy
skinny.
took care of his dog. You know he fed his dog the fish.
Oh,
Just as
you
much as he
know
was
that
getting.
dog probably ate pretty well. I mean, as well as he could. And then honestly, like think about it. That's all he had was that dog.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh my God.
Yes, everybody was correcting me. I said Tom Cruise when obviously I meant Tom Hanks. I saw Mission Impossible last night, so I have Tom Cruise on the brain.
Yeah. It's truly
But just
remarkable.
amazing.
What a remarkable story. It makes you wonder, could you do that?
Hell no, I couldn't do it. I
Could
would
you
last
survive?
45 minutes.
I know, because you would be like, there is no Instagram out here. Like, I'm dead. What am I going to do without it?
Oh my God.
So
it wouldn't
true.
even be the Instagram. It would just be like,
there are no Cheez-Its. What
there's
am I
no
going to do?
Cheez-It. Right.
There are no Cheez-Its.
And
There's
I
no
could
Instagram.
I don't think I could bring myself to eat raw fish. I know people love sushi out there. Gross. I like just pulling a fish out of the ocean and chowing down. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, you got to deal. There's a lot of stuff you got to
Mark's
do.
like, there's no apple tartlets.
What am I going to do without potatoes? Mashed potatoes, you guys.
Oh my God.
Right. It's crazy.
Amazing.
The human spirit is just remarkable.
It really is.
What a happy guy.
I know, right? He's just so grateful and like so kind and
happy. He's just like, I need some real food.
Right.
All right, buddy, let's get you to a Whataburger. Stat.
Yeah, I hope on that ship they weren't like, do you want some crab legs? Is that what you'd like to have right now?
We'll get you some more fish. No. I need
ever
a
want to see
steak.
fish again.
Need a big steak.
All right, it is time for your whack.
You guys, this is an ad from the DNC, and it's just so stupid. And I'm sure some of you saw it yesterday, but we have to play it today. It has to be my whack because it is whack. This is the kind of stuff that they put into young people's brains on that side of the aisle that we have to combat. And I don't think we do a good enough job combating it. Because they believe this garbage. But young people, they see it and they go, oh, this is what the Republicans do. And so you guys watch this ad. It's just so
Do you have a condom?
Yeah. Sorry, you can't use those.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning birth control.
This is our decision, not yours. Get out of our bedroom.
I won the last election. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to watch and make sure you don't do anything illegal.
everything about it. Everything about it is just it's so cringe.
Find me a single congressman who is against condoms, who wants to ban condoms. This is such a lie.
That's a lie. And then just the whole creepiness about stay out of stay out of our bedrooms. Meanwhile, this is the party who is shoving everything sexual in all of our faces.
Right.
And so just the dichotomy, the non-self-awareness here is just so infuriating to me because it's almost like gaslighting. It's just
it's total gaslighting.
It's just craziness what they're doing with that ad. It's like, stay out of our bedrooms. Really? Okay, then stay out of ours.
Quit bringing your bedrooms to the schools.
Exactly. Quit bringing all of your sexualization to every single person in this country. We don't want to hear anything about your sexual activity or just stop it. I want to quit hearing everything about it. And they're the party of that. And so it's very frustrating. This whole ad was just lies. It was just lies.
Total lies.
But the problem is that people on that side of the aisle, especially young people, I guess when I say young people, I'm talking like 16 to 25 or 30-year-olds. They'll believe it. They'll believe it.
Totally. They totally will.
Hook,
The
line,
people
and
that made
sinker.
the ad might believe it.
True.
You
Yeah,
know?
it's probably the young people who made the ad that this is the thing, like the people in their marketing departments and stuff like that, the PR department. They probably made it thinking, oh my God, they're totally coming after our condom. You guys, they are. They want to ban them. So this is the thing. I mean, they believe this stuff. So we can joke about it and we can say, this is so dumb. What a dumb ad. It's so stupid. This is all lies. But this is the kind of crap that gets people to go to the polls, is this stuff. And then they just completely ignore all the other stuff that's going on around them, you know, but they're just like, oh my God, they're going to try to take away our condoms, you guys. They want to be in our bed. That creepy old white dude wants to be in our bed. Really? No. So just keep that in mind. That's the kind of stuff they're putting out there. So I hope Republicans are combating it with actual logic.
Well, we just did. So look at us go.
Yep.
All right. It is time for My Pillow Talks. Don't forget, you guys, it is the 20th anniversary of My Pillow. And so they have got a special on their queen size My Pillow pillows. They're less than $20 right now. So grab them while you can, while they have the special going on at mypillow.com/chicks. Use code chicks and you'll get discounts on whatever you need at MyPillow. It's a great time to buy from them and support them, since like a gajillion retailers have canceled them completely. And I know that they're down like $100 million or something crazy.
Yeah.
They're struggling. And so the more that we can help them, the better, especially because their products are so great. And so whatever you get, you're going to love. My husband was at an event this past weekend with some old high school friends. And one of them, who's a total liberal, was saying, I hate that guy. I hate that Mike Lindell guy, but man, if he doesn't make the best pillows. And so,
true.
I mean,
It's
you know,
true.
even liberals will cave when they are dealing with quality this good from mypillow.com.
The products are top notch, and we really do need to support him because, I mean, I'm not saying that they're struggling right now, but there is a bit of a struggle, and it's because of all the woke crap that's been going on. So if you can support him and support us, do that.
That would be great. I got some good ones for you today. Most of them are animals, but we're going to start out with a funny story, a parenting story, if you will. And this woman got herself into a bit of a jam and is looking for help and advice on how to get out of said jam.
I fucked up today. I'm not the perfect parent, okay? I don't always do the right thing. And today I did not do the right thing. My toddler followed me to the bathroom, and I did ask her to leave at least 3 times. She said no and was offended that I even asked. I actually felt stupid for asking. She made me feel stupid because how dare I want a little bit of privacy? Silly mommy, you stupid, silly bitch mommy. How dare I? I'm on my period. I had to change a tampon, okay? She wasn't budging. She made it clear that she wasn't going to leave the bathroom, and I don't have all day. I have shit to do. So I proceeded to change my tampon. And she saw it. And as soon as she saw it, she looked me in the eye and asked me why I had a rat in my ass. And I didn't know what to say. So in that moment, I thought it was a good idea to explain to a 3-year-old what a period was. And at the end of my whole speech, I'm feeling good, like I'm doing a good job. And I end it with, and one day you're going to get one too. And all she took out of that conversation is that she's going to get a rat in her ass. And she keeps checking in between my legs for rats. And there are no rats in my ass. I am not housing a rodent in my anal cavity. And I don't know how to make that clear to her. I don't know how to undo what I did. And I can't take her out in public. Because the first person she sees, she's going to tell him that I have rats in my ass. And one day she's going to have rats in her ass. And that's a CPS call if I've ever heard one.
It's true.
God, am I fucking this kid up? How do I undo what I did?
It's just, parenting is hard.
You just never know when you're going to
it's really hard. It is. They don't give you a book on this. I mean, there are books, but who reads those books really? Who has time to read them when you're sleep deprived and you're getting followed to the bathroom?
They would never cover this topic. They would never cover this topic.
They're not going to cover it. That's true. Rats.
Oh my God. Anyway, so that happened. Also, speaking of babies, look at how this precious baby looks first thing in the morning.
Oh, she's a 10, but this is how she looks like in the morning.
Oh my God.
She's a 10.
I mean, can you even?
It's like you.
It's
me.
Me.
That's you. That's Mock
That's
as
how
a baby.
I am in the morning. That's totally me in the morning.
It's like, hey, what are we gonna do today? And I'm like, Coffee? We're going to do coffee.
My husband gets so mad at my
God.
cheerfulness in the morning because he is not cheerful at all.
So cheery.
Takes him a good hour before he's
when
human.
I travel with Mock, I'm like, can I just have 15 minutes just to not be cheerful? Can I just have just 15 minutes? That's all I'm asking. Just 15 minutes. What a precious little baby. Oh
I know.
God.
And so too is this one.
Tell me. What do you know?
Oh no.
That's fake. That's fake.
I love it. I love it. Called her bluff.
Right? And she did.
Mm-hmm. Mike is right. Like, that kid's going to be a star, Mike. You're right. It's going to be a star.
That hilarious chick, I can't remember her name, but that hilarious chick that has the cat and the dog and she narrates their fights. She's back with another fight.
Welcome back to Fight Club, where my cat and my dog get into scuffles and I narrate them for all of you. Today, I'll be honest, it was the laziest display of conflict I've ever seen, but they say variety is the spice of life, so we are rolling with it. Maris started off strong with an absolutely perfect execution of Titanic's Paint Me Like One of Your French Girls into a lethal death stare at Mickey's foot and tail for simply existing. As usual, he is happy. Back to Maris, who's giving murderous laser beams. This fight is entirely nonverbal, something we haven't seen from the contestants before. It's really exciting to watch. But Mickey does make the first move, and he is met with a diabolical combination of the sideways skittly daps. He is bamboozled. We do see a quick sidebar of them discussing the legality of that move, as it is banned in North America, and Maris does know that. The contestants agree to reset, but Maris clearly has other plans. She tries to perform the "you shall not pass," a move that usually works when fighting upright, but she couldn't be bothered to put in any effort in today's competition. Her incredibly lazy victory allowed her to keep her spot on the throne for another day, and her butt fluff trophy in hand was a reminder that battles can be won lying down. But overall, this was stupid. Thank you.
The skittly daps. I love the skittly daps.
I mean, it's a pretty well executed move that she did.
Don't try that in your in your fights, in your regular day life, you guys. The skittly daps.
Lori wants to know what the pug clip is. You guys, I'm not a fan.
She doesn't like smash.
These
You
dogs
don't like
more.
smashed animals. Any animal who's smashed in the face, she is a smashed facist. Mock is.
I mean, and I hate to say that because like some of my favorite people in the world have smash face dogs, and I don't mind their dog.
I thought you were going to say some of my favorite people in the world have smashed faces.
No, they have smash face dogs.
Thanks, Mock.
And
Thanks
I try.
Yeah.
I try really hard to like them as much as I like normal face dogs, but I just don't. I just don't like smash face dogs.
She's a bigot with the smash faces.
You know how much I love a screaming husky?
Right.
I do not like screaming pugs.
No. Oh my God, I love him. I love him. God, that dog. That dog is Danny DeVito. That's who he reminds me of. Does he not remind you guys of Danny DeVito?
Oh my God.
Lord.
I gotta have a snout. I need dogs to have snouts.
That dog's awesome.
Not a fan. I'm just not
Fantastic.
a fan. Dogs need to look like this.
He's so cute. I'm so pretty. He just won't stop.
Oh my God.
He won't stop with the chewing. He's so cute.
I gotta listen to it again.
So sweet.
It's like the best sound ever.
Sorry about the twice showing of the dog chewing, you guys.
I mean, can you? I can't.
He's so
too much cute.
He's really cute. You watched that on a loop yesterday, didn't you?
Oh my God, I've watched it so many times.
14 bazillion times. She's
so many
that.
times. All right. Speaking of huskies, I love this husky that is like just trying to test boundaries with its owner. And I actually love the owner too, who is totally dramatic about how the husky is behaving. So it feeds the fire and it's glorious. Check this out.
I said no. You cannot get on the yoga mat. I already told you can't get on the yoga mat. You are pressing your luck, aren't you? You're getting awful close.
I love him.
You barely touched it.
Look at the one in the background.
Don't you touch the mat. Don't you touch the mat.
The one in the background's like, you're gonna get your butt kicked, dude. You did.
I love that so much.
There's always one calm one, you know? That's our Astrid. Astrid's always just sitting there, just long suffering. You know, there's usually a puppy just trying to eat her ear off. And she's just looking at me like,
why did you do this to me?
I just want to sleep, you know? That's all I want to do is sleep and eat and be fat. That's all I want to do. Why do people have to bother me so much? Yeah.
Anyway, those are your talks for today.
Are you going to get up? No.
No?
No. Come on. Come on. No.
No.
This is the kind of control I have over my animals, you guys. I'm just here to provide food. That's all they care about. Just here to, somebody asked yesterday if Coda was still in like doggy jail. I don't like to call that doggy jail because I feel like it just sounds so terrible. And he only goes into his crate when we leave the house, with the exception of last week when my husband and my daughter were gone and I had to put him in his crate so he wasn't in here destroying my office while I was talking to you guys for an hour and a half. So
our dog Ella's in the crate right now with the door open. She just loves it. They both love their crate. They love it.
Coda's not to that point yet where he loves the crate.
Really?
But the puppy is out there. He's totally fine. He's doing great. He's just protective custody. I like that, Gigi girl. I love that. Protective custody. That's what I'm going to start calling it. But he's doing great. He's doing great. He just has, he's just puppy. He's a puppy.
Yeah.
That's all. He's a 70-pound puppy who wants to destroy my house. That's it. But we love him.
I'll take a picture of Ella Dog, like how much she loves her crate, and I'll post it for insiders and supporters today.
I need to do an updated video of Coda for insiders today too. I'm going to do that today for insiders so everybody can see
supporters.
how
whether you choose
for locals and insiders, so you guys can see how gigantic he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, you guys bring it in. Bring it in. You guys have a wonderful Tuesday. We're doing a deep dive today, so that'll be fun.
We're recording.
We're going to be recording that today, and then that'll be out this weekend. I don't want to call it a kennel. I like protective custody. I really like that.
I think, what do we call it? I think we call it a pen. Like because Ella used to go in there on command. Like if we would say, go to your pen, she would know that that's what it was. Cause that was the command she was given before she came to
she's
us.
A professional dog. She's a professional dog.
She was trained like very, very professionally, and they called it a pen, and it sort of stuck. Although sometimes I just call it their house because it's very cozy. You'll see. I mean, if you're an insider supporter, you're going to see a picture.
Yeah.
I'll show
Okay.
it.
Well, we'll go ahead and post those today. You guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will talk to everybody